Again, this video is going to be a little bit unorganized. I'm probably going to have trouble putting some words together later on. At least I'm giving you that ahead of time, so don't expect me to sound like some professional reporter on CNN or MSNBC or something. So just letting you know this is probably going to be a little sloppy. Excuse me, this is going to be a little bit all over the place. Now, we're in January of 2024, and already Katt Williams' interview, his appearance on Shannon Sharpe's show, is already the biggest interview of the year. I don't think that there's any other interview that's going to come out this year that's going to be bigger than this. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Now, let's start with this, because you know I talk a lot about comedians on this show. And we all know that Katt Williams kind of had a series of troubles going on in the past between the years of like 2011 to 2014, you know, somewhere around that. This guy was getting arrested a lot. It seemed like he was getting arrested once a month. It got to a point where even the judge was telling him, like, hey, I'm tired of seeing you in this court. I don't want to see you here again. And a lot of people, you know, let's face it, a lot of things that people say about a lot of celebrities, it's rumored, it's speculation. A lot of stuff isn't proven. And so a lot of people would just sit there and say, oh, well, Katt Williams, you know, he must be on drugs, man. You know, the drugs got to him and everything. And I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't know for sure. At the same time, I kind of didn't care. And at this point, I kind of still don't care. Now, Katt Williams denies all that at this point. He's saying, no, I was never on drugs. That was a lie planted by Hollywood, and it was continued by people like the Kevin Harts of the world, because it was a way to kind of keep me down and to suppress me so that people like him could rise up. He said in Shannon Sharpe's interview where he was like, a lot of black people who are in Hollywood, especially the comedians, they rise up because of one of two major reasons. Either A, they sell their souls by compromising their morals and their values and their integrity, or simply by stepping on other people. Now, I don't know at this point. I'm questioning it a little bit. I don't know for sure that Kevin Hart is a Hollywood plant who's basically propped up by the Hollywood elite as a way to suppress. I don't really know what the purpose of that was, because if that was the case, like I said before, why target Katt Williams in that? Why not Mike Epps? Why not Ari Spears? Why not Eddie Griffin? Why not Lavelle Crawford or anybody like that, like Red Grant or people like them, why not them? Now, even if I were to believe the speculation, the rumor of Katt Williams being on drugs, I would say, well, you had other celebrities out there who have been on drugs, whether they were either caught doing something through the course of their career, or they could have been on drugs before they became a big star. Case in point, Robert Downey Jr., you know, he had been on drugs in his younger years before he took on big roles like, you know, Tony Stark / Iron Man, things like that. David Arquette, who plays Officer Dewey in the Scream movies, you know, it was stated that he was on drugs in the past. And, you know, to me, it's like, at this point, I don't really care. I mean, if Katt Williams says that he denies it, he says he's like, no, I didn't do drugs. The most I've ever done is weed. Okay, fine. I could take that and believe it. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. But fast forward a little bit later, we get to, again, fast forward meaning from the days where he was getting arrested every day. We go to 2018, and Kevin Hart is on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne tha God and Angela, all of them. And he's on there with Tiffany Haddish. And here's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of what he said about Katt Williams. And I'll pause it at certain points, and I'll tell you which parts I agree with and which parts I disagree with. We'll go from there.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy. Yeah. You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You fucked off promo shoots. You fucked off your promo fucking trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped fucking with you.
What?
All right. So I can agree with the part where he says, all right, take responsibility for your actions. Black people can't continue to make the excuse of the white man holding me down, blah, 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 things of that nature. I can agree with all that. I still don't know if... Now, Katt Williams argues, and a lot of people who side with Katt Williams, they're arguing, oh, everything that he's saying right there he's a puppet and he's just saying what Hollywood elite is telling him to say. That's not what he really thinks or how he feels, because it's not. But again, I guess I told you this video was going to be unorganized. I told you. I'm struggling right here, but I'm working on it. I'm trying. And because I've never been in Hollywood, and I probably never will be in Hollywood, what I don't understand is, I don't understand how one person's success or failure has an effect on another person's success or failure. A lot of people, and I've actually debated people in the past that said, well, the only reason why Kevin Hart got big is because of people like Katt Williams, and if it wasn't for Kevin Hart, Katt Williams would have been bigger, and vice versa. It's like, well, hold on, that sounds kind of like what? Kevin Hart has his own, he has an agent, and he has a team of people that work with him, and a team of people that tour with him, and they do their thing, and they promote the movies that he's in and the stand-ups he does. Katt Williams has his group of people. He has an agent. What's Kevin Hart doing that's stopping Katt Williams? And what is Katt Williams doing that would have potentially stopped Kevin Hart? What are any of them doing that's going to stop anybody else? Who's stopping Ari Spears? Who's stopping D. Ray Davis? Who stops Eddie Griffin, Mike Epps? Who stopped the Kings of Comedy? Who stopped or tried to stop Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor or Def Jam people, Martin Lawrence? Me personally, I don't understand that connection. I don't get what people mean when they say that. Now, again, this is just my own, I'm giving you my ignorant perception of it, my perspective. If somebody has an answer to that, then just put it in the comment section. And again, it's not to argue. It's genuinely me not understanding. So whatever it is I'm missing, just let me know.
Why was he at risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix.
Well, again, even if he chose drugs, and I would say this, even if he did get on drugs, that wouldn't stop his career, because as I stated earlier, there were other celebrities who did drugs and they still made it big. By the way, that's not to encourage drugs, so don't get that twisted. And by the way, don't get this whole thing twisted. This video is not intended to take a side with Kevin Hart or Katt Williams. This is not pro-Kevin and anti-Katt, or it's not pro-Katt and anti-Kevin. No. I'm actually pro both of them, and I'm a fan of both of them. And like I said before, I've been to both their shows before. I was at Katt Williams' Born Again show, which was in Detroit 2015, and I was at Kevin Hart's What Now show, which was also in Detroit 2015.
I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy. Mm-hmm. So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian and these other women have worked hard, which they have. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Melanie Camacho. Shouts out to Lou Nell. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Leslie Jones, who are all underneath the umbrella of Katt Williams. Katt Williams, have you ever used your platform to fucking bring the people that were under you up? Mm. You haven't. So because you haven't, don't shit on those that now are. I've used my platform and I brought my guys and girls up. Mm. The brand of Kevin Hart is a brand that's expanded so fucking far, whether you like me or not. My presence in comedy will forever be felt because I'm a fucking boss. Mm. I sit on the top of it, and the opportunities I'm giving are the ones that I'm creating. Mm. So take responsibility for what you did. Fuck you. Nobody else did. You don't hear Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, the Kings of Comedy, Seinfeld. You don't.
Let me pause in the middle of that right quick, because I do want to say this. That now, if it is true that Katt Williams had said that Tiffany Haddish is not a real comedian, first of all, I don't even know what that means. Again, that's assuming that's still manning Kevin's point to say, let's just take the side right quick. Let's say I did agree with him on that. I think there's a difference between saying, this person isn't really a comedian versus saying, well, yeah, they got to superstardom, but the way they did it was different than how somebody like Dave Chappelle did it, or different than how Richard Pryor. Listen, everybody's not going to take the same path when it comes to this stuff. It's not going to be the same. Now, is it true? Maybe some people do get a little bit luckier than others, depending on who you might be connected with, or, what have you. I heard that Eddie Murphy, before he got big, he was doing comedy at some bar or a comedy club or whatever. And there was I don't know if it was a producer from SNL or maybe somebody who was connected to a producer from SNL that witnessed his comedy, thought he was hilarious. And fast forward, Eddie Murphy's on SNL and he's playing buckwheat and he's doing all these skits and he's been on the show, 3, 4, 5 years. And then he comes out with his 2 specials, Delirious and Raw. I would argue probably the 2 best comedy specials of all time that I've seen. Eddie Murphy is my personal favorite comic, so that is a little bit of a biased opinion. You can disagree with that if you want to, but that's just my take on that. But I just don't see I guess the part where I'm at is people say, oh, they sold out. Listen, I would say this. I kind of don't care in the sense that you're a comedian. So whether you're Kevin Hart or Katt Williams or anybody else that they just listed, your job is to go up on stage and be in front of the camera and make the people laugh and just be funny. And that's what they all do. And I think they're all quite good at that. And a lot of people, like Katt Williams also referenced how a lot of black celebrities put on the dress because they feel that, well, we have to put on the dress because it's funny, because without the dress, we can't be funny. I mean, look, there are some people who put on the dress and they are funny with it. It's not necessarily to say that that's the only way they can be funny, but some of them made a living off doing that, like Tyler Perry playing Medea. One of the funniest things that I've seen and that I've watched. I've been at 2 Medea shows. Jamie Foxx was funny when he played Wanda on Living Color. Martin Lawrence when he played Shanae in Big Mama. Hilarious. Eddie Murphy played Respucia. Hilarious. Chris Rock played Jasmine on that one episode of Fresh Prince. Hilarious. Now you have a number of them that are hilarious without the dress. Dave Chappelle, case in point. Dave Chappelle, Eddie Griffin, Mike Epps, D-Ray, Aries, none of them put on dresses or put on wigs. They're all hilarious. Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, none of them ever put on a dress. All 4 of them, the kings of comedy, hilarious. I don't know if, I didn't see anything. I don't think Richard Pryor put on a dress. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I must have missed it. I really haven't seen too much of Richard Pryor's movies, to tell you the truth. I've really only seen his stand-ups. But, I mean, even if he did, hey, he was still hailed as the king of comedy by most comics. A lot of black and white comics will say Richard Pryor was just the king. So it's like, at the end of the day, you can make the argument to say, oh, they had a few deals or they got lucky. Hey, they're still funny. They're out there making their money and they're making the people laugh and they entertain them. So, and to Katt's point by saying, oh, you don't remember anybody saying that they've been to a Kevin Hart show that was sold out. Okay, well, that's not true because as I said before, I've been to a Kevin sold out show and it was great. And to Kevin Hart's point, and where I disagree with him, is he said that you don't remember anybody being to a Katt Williams sold out show. Well, that's also not true because I've been to a sold out Katt Williams show. Both of them took place in the same area in the same year. Of course, they were different months, but you get the point. And both were great. So I don't know. I feel like this is all just, it's crazy. It's crazy to say the least. Let's hear what else he had to say.
You don't hear George Lopez, Eddie Griffin. You don't hear fucking, who else can I go down the road of other comedians? Steve Martin, Martin Short. You don't hear the guys that got on top and that made it by doing what they love complain about the people that are coming under them. The reason why is because they're happy with themselves. Don't blame everybody else for your shit. Don't shit on my sister Light because you're not happy with your shit. This shit is earned. It's not given. I don't give a fuck if you're a Tiffany Haddish fan or not. It's earned. Tiffany Haddish got years in the game. It's not an accident that Tiffany Haddish got an opportunity to star in a movie. It's not an accident that that character popped in the movie. Written or not written, a character has to pop it.
And he even acknowledged the years that you put in.
Yeah, and so, again, that all... Now, keep in mind, what happened recently, just a week or two after the interview of the year of 2024 took place, I see articles and websites that say that Kevin Hart and Katt Williams have now gotten into a war of defamation lawsuits. Kevin Hart is supposedly suing Kevin Hart for $100 million in defamation lawsuit. And then Katt Williams, in response, countersues Kevin Hart for $500 million in defamation lawsuit. And it's like, what the hell? I just, people, everybody just has to do their thing. And what everybody has to realize, especially when you're a comedian, I mean, really, I would say if you're an entertainer in almost any field, I mean, whether you're an actor or a poet, a sports player, a writer, just anything, really. I mean, of course, you're going to get a set of, you got 3 sets of people, okay? You got the people who are your fans and that love you and support you. Then you have your people who can't stand you and they're going to hate you and dislike you no matter what. And then there's going to be the other people who are basically who may not even know who you are. And even if they know you, they just don't care one way or the other because they don't really follow the thing that you do. So that comes with all of them. And it comes with Kevin, it comes with Katt. And so it's just, at the end of the day, just do your thing and just build your following and continue to work with your agents, your producers, your colleagues, and just get up there. And listen, I think that to Kevin's point, Melanie Camacho, who's great. I saw her in person. She opened up for Martin Lawrence on his Doing Time show. Melanie Camacho, Lunel, Leslie Jones, all hilarious. I think they deserve just as much credit as somebody like a Tiffany Haddish. Samore, Laura Hayes, Adele Givens. I think I did see Samore in person. Yeah, I saw her in person before. A lot of the others I didn't, and it's just, this is something right here. Now, is this lawsuit going to go anywhere? I don't see it being talked about enough on any major news source. This is not something that's going on, NBC or CNN or MSN or CBS or Fox or anything like that. I don't even really see TMZ or Hollywood Reporter talking about this much. So that makes me question how much of that is even true in terms of the lawsuit stuff. And even if it is true, it's like, well, how far is it really going to go? So I don't know. Kevin Hart and Katt Williams, I'm telling you, they both have come a long way. And hopefully they still both got a ways to go. So like and subscribe. I got more coming.